Do you ever have that moment when you're just living your life, you're folding laundry, you're making breakfast, maybe wiping the kitchen counter for like the 5th time that day, and then you maybe go to grab your phone to mindlessly scroll and you catch a glimpse of somebody else's life. And before you even realize it, you're shrinking a little. Not because there's anything actually wrong with you, there isn't, but because you've slipped into comparison without even realizing it. And that feeling can be very heavy, especially in motherhood. And the worst thing is it can become a habit, and we don't even realize that it's becoming a habit. So today, I want to talk about how we can stop comparing ourselves to others and how we can start showing up more fully as ourselves. Hey friend, and welcome to the Motherhood Reset. Today is day 7, and we're talking about something that sneaks in quietly but hits hard, and that's comparison. This comes up a lot, especially in the early stages of motherhood when everything feels new. You're trying to figure out your new rhythm, and when you're tired, you're unsure, you're hoping that you're doing enough. And then you see somebody else, maybe a mom who looks calm, put together, thriving, and suddenly, without even realizing, you're holding that person's life up as a mirror to your own. And suddenly you're questioning things without even realizing it. You're questioning your pace, you're questioning your choices, you're questioning your ability to do it right. But here's the thing, comparison doesn't tell the truth, right? It tells a story without much of a context. And that's what we're unpacking today. So first, we need to say this out loud, okay? The people that you're comparing yourself to, you don't actually know them. Not really. Like, they could be even friends of yours or relatives, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes, and you never know what's going on behind their mind, right? You only see the shiny parts, the surface stuff. So you may be envious of some of the things that they do well, but you don't really know what's happening and you don't really know the full story, right? So maybe, just a few examples, that mom with a fancy SUV at school pickup and school drop-off, right? And she always looks like she's dressed to the nines. Maybe she owns her own business, and maybe she works 80 hours a week and barely sees her kids except for that school drop-off and school pickup. Or the mom with a spotless house, let's say, right? Like there's, if somebody has like a beautiful house and it's so clean and you're like, how do you have time to clean it? Well, maybe that mom is battling anxiety big time, and cleaning the house is her way of coping with it. So a personal example about this is I have a godmother, and her house is always spotless. Like it's beautiful, it's very tasteful, it's very nicely decorated, and it's just really, really nice. But she battles anxiety worse than anybody that I have met in my life. So, and cleaning the house is her way of adjusting to it, of like coping with it. So that's just an example. Like, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And even though she's my godmother, I'll never know what's going on, inside her head. Hey guys, so I'm just actually dropping in here. This is a little bit random, but I just finished filming this video and I forgot to say something important, okay? So on comparison culture, not everything looks as good on the screen or in the picture as it is in real life. So even here, right? So I'm not saying like my room looks perfect or anything, but like in the background, everything is cleaned up because of course I cleaned up for the video. Like I'm not gonna leave my laundry, right, on the cabinet for the whole YouTube to see. But I just want to tell you, like, here it is, my bed, okay? My bed. All right, I haven't cleaned anything up, by the way. You've got my laptop, you've got my baby monitor because my baby girl's sleeping. You have my husband's pants and shirts that I promised I would iron for him right here. Okay, you've got the ironing board, you've got some, you've got my playpen that I moved to the side because I didn't want it to be visible. So, I mean, this is real life, right? I mean, we do what we have to do. So you never know. It may look good on the surface, but you never know what goes on behind the scenes. So this is just an example. All right, carry on. Or, the mom who's at every school activity, she's always volunteering, always helping, knows all the teachers' names, helps out with the kids, knows every single school event. Maybe that mom has more time because she doesn't work full time. Maybe she's a stay-at-home mom, but also feels very deeply lonely, and school is where she feels needed, right? Or maybe the mom who always has her hair done and her nails are perfect. Maybe she has access to financial help. Maybe she has hired nannies or hired cleaners, right? Maybe her self-care is aesthetic, but maybe she's compromising on something. Maybe she doesn't cook, and maybe she likes takeout, and maybe her home life is chaotic in ways you'll never see. This is just speculation, but I'm just giving you examples. The truth is, none of these moms are doing it all. They're doing some things really well and they're compromising on other things. And the same is in reverse. Right now, somebody out there could be looking at you thinking, wow, I wish I had what she has. Закрой, пожалуйста, маечка. But they don't know your story, right? They don't know your worries. They don't know the battles that you're fighting. They don't know your energy level, your circumstances, your life, or the invisible load that you carry. I'm going to give you a quick example of my own life, okay? This was just recent, probably like about last year or so. So last year I gave a short presentation at work for about 10 people. And afterwards, I remember one of the people in my group came up to me and they complimented me on my presentation. And they said, wow, you're such a natural. Public speaking must come so easily to you. That was so effortless. And I remember that word, effortless, because I was grateful for the compliments, but it kind of made me laugh inside because it was anything but for me. Like, it was anything but effortless. Because here's what they didn't see, right? They didn't see the hours I spent prepping for that talk. They didn't hear me practicing that speech any chance I could get, right? In the shower, in the car, making breakfast. I remember my daughter was asking me, Mommy, why are you talking to yourself? I was preparing for the presentation, right? And then during the presentation, yes, they might have heard that effortless delivery, but they didn't see that I had like sweaty palms, and they didn't hear my heart pounding as I stood there speaking. All they saw was the polished stuff. They saw the shiny stuff. They didn't see the struggle behind the scenes. And that's what happens with comparison. You know, we see somebody else's moments and we forget that it took work to get there, or the compromise that person made along the way. We don't see the cost. We don't see, the trade-offs. So we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. So a couple of years ago, I read 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. There was one chapter that really stayed with me, one phrase or one quote in particular. It said something like, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Isn't that beautiful? Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. That really stayed with me, because who someone is today, I don't have control over. You don't have control over. But who I was yesterday, who you were yesterday, who you want to be today, you have complete control over that. You and I, we don't have control over what somebody else is doing, what somebody else is deciding to do with their life, but we can look at ourselves yesterday and ask, what is one thing that I can do a little bit better today? Incrementally, by half a percentage. It doesn't even have to be like a huge improvement. Little step by little step. For example, maybe yesterday I was short-tempered with my kids, like I am very often, because life is just chaotic lately with 3 little ones, 5 and under. So yesterday, maybe I was really snappy with them. Maybe today I'll choose to be a little bit more present or more patient. Or maybe a couple of days ago or yesterday, I fell into like a mindless scrolling loop, right, on my phone. Maybe today I will practice to be a little bit more mindful with my time. And maybe yesterday I had like this whole grandiose plan of like tackling like a bunch of projects, but I didn't actually get to them because life happens, right? Well, maybe today I don't tackle all of those projects. I only tackle the one. My point is, we don't have to do it all, right? But we can improve our lives just by 0.5%, by 1/4%, and already make such a big difference. So, next time you find yourself thinking, that person's doing so much better than I am, pause, okay? Remember, you're only seeing a slice of that person's life, and you're forgetting to honor your own story. You're forgetting about yourself, because you weren't meant to live that person's life. You were meant to live yours, with your rhythm, with your values, with your family, and with your heart. And that's more than enough, So don't cut yourself short. You are more than enough. So instead of comparing yourself to who someone else is today, maybe look at who you were yesterday and choose one small, tiny thing to do with a little bit more intention. And if you'd like, tell me in the comments, what is one thing that you want to try to do a little bit better today or tomorrow or the next day? Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. By the way, if we haven't met, my name is Eva. It's really great to meet you, and thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I wish you a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.